Welcome to the Wednesday night crit. This is the B Race. This happened to be my first race of the season, the first crit race of the season. And right from the gun, I go in and make an attack just to see if anybody was going to follow. I know some of these guys here had already done one race. I had just gotten off work and made it out to the race. And I figure, hey, you know what? I'm going to try to see if I can get someone to go with me. And I'm going to switch to the rear camera here. You can see I've got a couple people on my wheel. So I think to myself that, hey, this could work. I take a peek back. I notice we have not a big gap on the field, but enough of a gap that we could make something happen if we work together. So this guy Brandon in the red kit, not to the left of the screen, he kind of goes, hey, we got a gap on the field. Let's work together. And I'm like, you know what? I'm down for it. So he gets in front of me and he starts pulling. And keep an eye on the guy directly behind me because you'll see him again later in the race. His name's Albert. Pretty strong guy. So we switch back to the front here, and Brandon just took his pull. So he's pulling off. And I guess now it's my turn. And I'm kind of looking back going, hey, how come someone else isn't making a pull? I just kind of, got us away from the group in the first place. Um, uh, that was kind of the whole thing of this race was I tried to make every single move because I knew that I had to be in something if I wanted anything to stick, if I wanted a good chance at the podium. Um, and this guy, I don't know his name, but man, he was strong. He was riding some old steel bike, but he's definitely got legs. I mean, it's not about the bike; it's all about the rider. And that guy definitely kind of showed it. So we skip ahead here. We get absorbed by the group, and I think now we're going for a preem, and it's Durango in front of me, and I'm like, I guess I'm gonna go for this preem. So I sprint around Durango to take the preem, and we had a decent little gap on the group, and I was debating to myself whether or not to keep going and try to make it away there, or kind of fall back with the group and just kind of see what happens. Um, Durango's like, hey, good job, man. So here we are back in the group, and I know there's some guys off the front, so this is me kind of from the back of the pack to the front of the pack. I mean, this is kind of how to get away from the group is just kind of slingshotting around everybody. I mean, I'm going at least 8 miles an hour faster than they are. So I mean, there wasn't too much they could do. And there's a guy from the Nick Lopez tailoring kit up ahead. And I noticed he had been away for a lap or two at this point, so I decided to make my move then. And that was something I did quite a few times throughout the race. I would wait, kind of hang out in the pack. If somebody took off or two or three people took off, I'd see how long they could stay away. If they could stay away for a lap or two on their own, then I figured, hey, maybe I could go out there and bridge up to him. But I get up to this guy and say, hey, you want to work? And he said, yeah. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna take my pull. So I get ahead of him and start taking my pull. And I know we have to do at least 25, 26 miles an hour to maintain our gap on the group, but it ends up not working. We get absorbed by the group again. So just kind of hanging out. And I would do that quite a bit. And then here I go. I know there's another guy up the road, so I make my move around the group, and that was kind of dumb. I took off from the front, which ended up bringing the pack with me, unfortunately. So I bridge up to these guys, and the rest of the pack is kind of right on my heels. And I didn't realize it until I got up here, and I look back, and I see that I brought the group with me. And man, I was super hungry for the win this night. I mean, after not being able to race for almost a month. Being able to come out here and race was super fun. So here we go again. I'm just hanging out in the group. There's a guy off the front, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, here we go. I'm gonna make a move. So I get in the drops, and I'm ready to sprint as soon as everybody moves over to the right, which is what always happens right there. So I go sprint around everybody, and I'm hoping, okay, I'm just gonna make this all by myself. Little did I know, there was someone right on me. I ended up bringing him and a couple other people from the group uh, up to this. So you can see here's the rear camera again. And I saw that I didn't get too far, so not going to go super hard with the pace. I'm not going to kill myself and burn a bunch of matches if I don't have to. So catching back up, and I was hanging out in the group for a little while. I see Nathan taking off right there, and I'm like, this guy's pretty strong. See what I can do. Maybe I can hold his wheel. Or what I end up doing is I'm like, oh no, he's going slower than me. I don't want to lose my momentum, so I just kind of fly right around him, and I'm trying to catch this guy from Mellow Johnny's. This kid's 17 years old. Uh, super, super strong guy. I ended up just kind of sitting on his wheel for a little bit because I was exhausted. I mean, I had tried to make every single move in the race, hoping to get myself away from the pack for the win. And as I'm getting closer to this guy, he's ramping up the pace. And I'm like, dude, I'm thinking to myself, holy moly, man. Like, how am I going to catch you if you just keep ramping it up? You know? Because he looked back and saw me, and man, he just started laying the hammer down. But that guy on the steel bike happened to be right behind me. So we kind of got in a little breakaway group. I mean, we're probably 5 laps to go at this point, somewhere around there. So, I mean, this would be the time to try to make something stick, right? So this is the point in the race where things can be made, and hopefully we can make some moves. Man, this guy is he's a freaking monster, super strong, and I'm over here dying because I'm sprinting away from the group every time to try to bridge these gaps, and I let his wheel get way too far. I should have just kind of held it down a little harder than I did. But I do remember 2 laps to go. I was like, man, is this last lap? And this Mellow Johnny's guy was in front of me. He's like, damn it, like, oh man, I don't want to be on the front, during the last lap. But yeah, we're getting pretty close to the end of the race here, and this guy's taking a pull. I'm not taking a pull, which was kind of bad on my part. I should have taken a pull, but man, I felt like I was on the limit the whole time here. So here we are getting closer. So this guy goes flying around us, and as soon as he crosses the finish line, it's last lap, right? So I'm like, man, we gotta catch this guy. We can't let him get away. So I put in another little dig, and that guy from Mellow Johnny's comes around me, and he'll come close the gap, and I'm like, oh, okay, great. Like I don't want to be wasting too much energy on the last lap, especially when there's going to be a sprint finish because the pack's not too far away from us. So we start heading up, and I know I've just got to dig. And at this point, man, my vision's starting to go black. I see Albert Sweeney come flying through the group, so I know I've got to hold his wheel because that's his move. He always goes pretty far out. So catch his wheel. I get to breathe for just a second, and I'm like, okay, here we go. So this is the straight before the last turn, and we're on the inside, and behind us is the pack, maybe 3 seconds off. I mean, they're close. I see Albert start to ramp up his sprint, so I know, okay, got to go around him. And as soon as I see that I'm around him, I let off. Right? I know I've got the win. Do a little victory cheer, and that was it. Pretty good. Awesome first win. Thanks.
Yeah, if he's got it. There you go. Dig, 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 dig. Oh, yeah, man. Good job.